Hello and welcome to Your Worth, Your Way, the podcast that's all about helping you understand that you are worthy of prioritizing your joy without feeling selfish or guilty. I'm Debbie Lucas, the Joy Alchemist, and this episode is a very, very special episode, and it's actually the last episode of Your Worth, Your Way. When I started this podcast at the start of 2025, I was just very new in this version of my business. And I knew that I had a podcast in me. I'd done one before and really wanted to do one again. And the purpose of the podcast was to amplify the beautiful work that myself and my fellow coaches do, and to really kind of create a platform to showcase the work that we all do. One of my values is abundance, and I believe that there's enough for all of us to go around. And so, I really wanted to bring on people as guests who I had worked with as a client, friends in the same coaching world as me, really just to showcase all the beautiful work that they do, as I said. So this podcast has been running for 6 months. This is episode 32. And I have had the most amazing time doing this podcast. I want to express so much gratitude for every single listener. Every time you've listened to this podcast, I see the numbers kind of going up and up and up, and it makes me so happy that there are people, that this is reaching people who really enjoy this podcast and the content within it. And also to every single guest that I've had. That's 31 guests that I've had on this podcast, which is absolutely phenomenal. I didn't even think there would be, as many people as that who would want to even speak to me and about this topic. But clearly we're all so passionate about, standing in your worth, understanding your worth, and just prioritizing your joy. So I've learned so much from each and every single guest, and if you've listened to the episode, you will have heard the breakthroughs and the aha moments that both myself and my guests have experienced. And I know that you guys have experienced that too, because you've shared that with me in DMs and emails. And I just love hearing that. And I know that there's been so many of you who have gone on and connected with some of my guests, which is even more magical and just warms my heart so much. But as you can imagine, running a podcast, it takes a lot of love, a lot of work, and a lot of energy. And whilst I've absolutely loved doing that, the decision to end this podcast is coming from a place of alignment, not burnout. Because every conversation I have, every time I come off a conversation or a podcast interview, I'm so energized, and you can tell that. You can tell that in my energy, even in my voice. If you're listening to this, or if you watch the YouTube videos, you'll see that. But I'm trusting, I've spoken a lot throughout this podcast about trusting your intuition, and living from a place of alignment. And I have felt the call for a while to work on two special projects. And I kind of feel like the time is ready now for me to shift my energy and focus into that as my work has evolved as well. So one is that I'm writing a book, which is super exciting. I had a book that came out, well, it was a part of a collaboration last year with a book called Rebel Ma, Healing in the Time of the Feminine, which I was part of with 28 other authors. So that is on Amazon. You can check that out. It's also on my website. And that was an amazing experience last year in 2024. And we got international bestseller status with that book, which was amazing, and such a beautiful project to be part of. But I've always known that I had a full book, my own book within me as well. But again, trusting my own intuition and my own energy and my own timing, I knew that I will know when the time is ready. And that time happened about 2 weeks ago. I already kind of made the decision to retire and wind down the podcast. But yeah, 2 weeks ago, I've started in earnest. And as of the time of recording, I've just completed chapter 2 yesterday. And that's taken me less than a week to get that done, chapter 1 and chapter 2. What the kind of final draft still needs a little bit of editing, obviously. So I'm super, super excited about that. And, the book is going to be about joy. It's what I'm all about. And that is going to be, I'm just excited to get that out in the world and that message out in the world. The other project I'm still keeping under wraps just for now, because there's a lot of technical behind the scenes things that needs to happen before I can officially announce that. But yeah, I'll share a bit more about how you can keep on top of that, at the top of the progress for that as well. So I will be keeping Your Worth Your Way live. It will continue to be on the airwaves, so you can come back to these episodes whenever you want to. If you find this episode before you find the rest, don't worry, don't panic, it's not going away. And I know some people have actually gone back and re-listened to episodes, so I'm definitely going to keep that on there. And as I said, I love doing podcasts. I love the interviews. I'm so energized from speaking to guests. And so there probably will be another podcast in me in the future. And it may be more aligned to my book and my other project that I'm doing. And it will still focus around kind of same topics of worthiness and joy and all the rest of it. So, that will happen again and when the time is right for me, and I'll know when that is. So I'm trusting and modeling that's how I operate and run my business. So the best place to stay in touch is on social media with me, or if you want to bookmark with the link, it's debbielucas.me/links. That's where all my kind of up-to-date offers and goings on is always kind of, keep that page up to date, and it'll take you to the various things that I have going on. So that's a good way to check out what's happening. So again, I just want to kind of finish off by again thanking my guests. 31 guests. I could run through the names individually, but that would take me a while. But just needless to say, I am really grateful for you sharing your time and your energy and your wisdom on my podcast, and for putting, helping to share the podcast with the world as well. So I'm eternally grateful for that. And obviously to every single listener, so much love in my heart for you, genuine love in my heart for you. And you guys are why I started this podcast. It was the podcast that I think I needed when I'd started on this journey, and so I hope it has helped you even a little bit in your kind of healing and spiritual development journey. So I suppose I want to just leave you with a couple of final messages. Keep choosing joy. Because when you live in joy, you are automatically grateful for what you have around you. You're automatically choosing from your intuition, and you are living in alignment. And remember that you don't have to stay where no longer fits for you. You grow and evolve and change, and that sometimes means that you outgrow situations and places and people and relationships. And yes, it's hard. And I suppose it's on my mind because it's what I've been writing about in chapter 2 of my book. But when you start choosing joy, life starts aligning to you, become magnetic. The universe can't help but match that energy. People around you can't help but match that energy. Just the air around you can't help but match that energy. So keep choosing joy, keep choosing alignment, and please remember that you are worthy always, exactly as you are.